Good evening and welcome back to my channel. My name is Swamp Rose, and if this is your first time joining me, we're doing a true crime podcast tonight, and we are covering the case against Brian Kohlberger and the Idaho 4. And I just want to thank the live chat for being ready for me and active tonight. We've got a lot of people here. I will say hi to everyone as we go because we have a few things to talk about tonight. So I also will drop a link into the chat. And, I'm just trying to invite people to come up on panel. I don't always do an open panel, but I'm trying to invite other creators to come in and share their opinions. So if you're interested, there's a link in the chat almost. And you're welcome to come up on panel. But I really have two segments tonight. And the first one's really short. The second one is a 20-minute clip that we're going to break down. So I'm thinking like this live stream will probably be an hour to an hour and a half. It's not going to be a long one, but I hope that you're going to get a lot of information out of it. And Robert's here. Hello, True Crime Colt. How are you tonight?
I'm doing okay. Do you like my new name on my channel?
Robert at True Crime Colt. I love it.
No, True Crime Podcast.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, we will change the banner so
yeah, it's Robert with True Crime Podcast. Yeah, I just felt like I needed to freshen stuff up. I've been True Crime Cult for like the last 6 months. So, I just wanted to just freshen things up and go with the name change this morning.
I like it. It's always good to start fresh. And we got 12 gauge here. Hold on. Let me get 12 up. Hey, 12, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Hello,
12.
Hey, Robert. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
Great.
It's been a while since we've had you on panel. I'm so glad you popped up tonight.
Well, thank you. What's the topic going to be, Kiki?
Well, I've got two of them. So I have, we lost Robert. Hold on. Yeah. Hey, Robert.
I hit the wrong button.
Well, at least we didn't lose you completely. So 12 was just asking what the subject is going to be tonight. So I have two of them. So first I wanted to talk about, we had the 17th motion for discovery that was submitted by the defense today. So we had a new document come out today. I'm going to read it to you. It's obviously basic. We've all read it before, but it's an update. And I just was going to give my 2 cents on what I think is coming of this new document. And then the second thing I wanted to show you guys tonight was today, CyRay, and if you don't know who CyRay is, I'll certainly do an introduction before I do the segment to anyone watching. But CyRay actually gave a shout out twice to this channel in the last 24 hours. He did one in the live stream, and he also gave a really nice shout out to my channel and to some of the socialites or people who watch his show along with me. And I want to share that with you guys. But more importantly, I do feel that listening to him explains, well, you'll hear for yourself what he has to say, but I think he is speaking on some of the people who, well, we'll see. I'll let you play size words, and then we'll do some interpretations as we listen to them. So I don't know if that sounds good. I'd love to have both.
Yeah, let's get on with it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So let's first get this new document up. I'm gonna stop my camera. All right, so we have so I'm just going to read you the whole document, everyone. In the District Court of the Second Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Latah, defendant's 17th supplemental request for discovery. Please take note, the undersigned pursuit of Rule 16 of the Idaho Criminal Rules, the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 8th, and 14 amendments of the Constitution of the United States and Article 1 and 1, 2, and 13 and 17 of the Constitution of the State of Idaho requests discovery and inspection of all materials discoverable by the defendant per ICR 16B 18 and the information constitutionally provisions, including but not limited to the following information, evidence, and materials outlined in Exhibit P. And then they certify it there. And then if you come down here, it says under seal with the court, Exhibit P attached to the 17th supplemental request for discovery. So, I mean, I have a couple thoughts on it, which I'll go over with you guys, but, you know, I didn't know, did either of you have any ideas as to what you think, why they might have released this before the hearing coming up? That seems like time might have been of the essence. They've had two of these, the 16th and the 17th, within 30 days. Pretty interesting, I think.
Well, with that one about the extended PowerPoint, it just they're just trying to let the state know that it's going to be a very long hearing tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why she threw in the extended PowerPoints, because the PowerPoints this time around are going to be probably pretty long.
It's going to be a long day.
Yeah, and then they're going to have the rebuttal. The Dr. Dahar is going to be rebutting the state tomorrow on the stand.
Yeah, and that's going to be really interesting, because I think that we are going to hear a really substantive argument, because the argument from the defense was that you don't have all the information. You're not interpreting this correctly. And then the state fights back with, actually, we were using this interpretation and that interpretation, and we're going to fight you on the merits of this argument, and not that we didn't have the full information. It's just an interesting argument.
Oh yeah, it is very interesting.
Go ahead, Robert.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, 12.
You know, I think it's interesting that, this is the 17th motion for discovery. You know, that's a lot of motion to get the discovery that should have been at the very beginning. You know, I don't know how far along it is. I haven't watched a lot of the hearings, but the last one that I did watch, I think they said 95% of the discovery was turned over. I could be wrong. I mean, does that sound right, Kiki?
It does. And here's the thing, and I'm not trying to hide, but my understanding was, when we did hear about discovery, and I think that was back in February when that was quoted, they were saying there was like 5%, and they weren't even planning on handing that over till after the summer. So I think that is due coming up in September, maybe. Anyway, just to answer your question.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you, Kiki. I agree with what you and 12 said. The 17th motion to compel. There should be a cap. There really should be a cap on how many motions to compel there is. The prosecution should have turned over the stuff on the 4th, 5th, or 6th motion to compel. But we're at 17. I mean, it just makes you wonder what Bill Thompson is trying to procrastinate on.
Well, I put a little fault on the judge as well for not, issuing any sanctions earlier on. He should have, in my opinion, he should have put a limitation and then delivered sanctions if it wasn't done at an appropriate time. Maybe this case wouldn't be so drawn out.
Yeah, very, very true. I mean, just like Jeff said in the chat, I once Googled the average number of requests for discovery in a murder trial, and I think it said 12 or 13, and we're on 17.
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
You know what it makes? Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Kiki.
What I was going to say is, and I said this on the 16th motion to compel discovery, and I will say it even more, knowing that this document came out within 30 days of the last document. I'll say that I think what we're about to see is and because it has to be the defense asking the judge to put sanctions on Bill Thompson or on the prosecutors. And the reason they would do that is because it doesn't look like this case will be plead out or anything like that, and they probably want to take the death penalty off of the table. Because we know that when sanctions were placed on the prosecution for the Daybell case, which is what we kind of always go to because, it's a similar high profile case in the area. That is what they ultimately decided to do, is take the death penalty off as repercussions for sanctions.
Do you believe that he will plea out if they do take the death penalty off the table? You think he'll plea out?
With what I see for evidence now, I don't, particularly when it comes to talking about his alibi. I don't see, with what I see now, I don't know, but I would imagine he's going to go to trial with it, or even if we've heard a lot of things, like for instance, in Cyray's live stream last night, somebody asked, is there going to be Frank's hearings coming up? And he couldn't answer, obviously, but he says, stay tuned. But, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that that's a defense, that's a strategy of the prosecution in many death penalty cases, is to take it off the table and hope they can plead it out.
In defense of Cyray, I don't think he's really allowed to speak on the case when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, even he stated in the beginning of his live stream that he wasn't able to speak on certain cases.
Yeah, definitely. No, he definitely he knows his boundaries with this case. He makes it clear in his live streams.
I mean, even the judge is there just for, the governing of the trial. I mean, they haven't gone to trial yet, but the governing of the case. And at this point, it's almost on his shoulders that they've had to, request it 17 times, because he could have put an end to it a long time ago.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you, 12. But, where I'm thinking as well is not knocking the judge or anything like that, but could there be a conflict of interest because his wife is a tenured professor at the U of I? Could that play into it?
I don't know if it would go that far. I just believe that some judges are really stern and by the book, and then some are a little more lackadaisical. So maybe he's one of those lackadaisical judges that want to believe that, the attorneys will speed up the process and get their work done, but it seems like they can't get along long enough to get the motion done,
Yeah. Do you think he's too lackadaisical?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Because if this would have been that first judge, Judge Marshall, she would more than likely been a lot stricter on not only the prosecution but the defense as well. It just seems like with Judge, he's very lackadaisical, and it's almost like he really don't want to do hardly any work at all in this case.
Well, I believe in the long run, we're probably going to see a lot of errors done on both sides, of the attorneys. I believe that they both have pretty much squeezed the life out of this hearing. They need to move it along. I'm sure all of us are ready for the trial. I can speak for myself. I can't speak for either one of you.
Yeah,
but I'm sure y'all feel the same way.
Yeah, oops, hold on.
Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to find something right here. I think I left it in the other room. But what I think I'm going to do is, do either of you happen to subscribe to the Social Aid Crime Club? here in our true crime community? Do you know what that?
Yeah, I subscribed the night of the live stream.
He had an incredible podcast that came out today, and it was obviously I was excited because he mentioned my name in it, and but it's really interesting because the last few minutes he talks about his critics, and I thought it'd be interesting if we listened to it and we just maybe thought about, and I'll give you when we speculate on a few of the things that he had to say. Before I do though, I did star a couple comments I wanted to. Oh, thank you for becoming a new member. So welcome, OCD Shaggy. I did star a couple comments I wanted to read. The first one was from Thomas, and he says, AR, just remember, God is still in the healing business. And the scriptures say that he changes not. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. What he does for one, he will do for another. And we just wanted to read that and give our thoughts and prayers with AR today. And then back to the case. I started 2 comments while we were talking about this. So Chris McGraw says, there may be a time limit associated with a motion to compel and the response requested, maybe 45 days. So the judge will have to answer within 45 days to each of these, I guess. And then Heather had said this, I don't know many judges that would not start issuing sanctions by the 4th or 5th on compel motions.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gone way too long. Way too long.
Yeah, I mean, well, just like that one letter that the Gonzalez family had wrote after one of the hearings, about about the whole, oh, we don't have it, yes you do, we don't have it, yes you do, and then let's have it, let's file a motion and have a hearing, and then file another motion and have another hearing, and they're apparently just getting tired of all the motions and all the hearings, and they just want to get this thing to trial.
I believe, Robert, also that the longer that you prolong the trial, the longer you have for people to forget about the situation that you're going to trial on.
Yeah,
And that's just my belief. Like 2022 is what, it's going to be 2 years already. So
yeah, it'll be 2 years in November.
yeah. So the longer that they push this out to get to the trial, they're hoping, I guess, that people will have forgotten the intricate parts of the crime, and they can finally get a fair trial. That they can get a fair amount of people on the jury that cannot be biased one way or the other. That they can
Yeah.
actually be unbiased.
Yep.
But
And
that's just my belief. I mean, I could be mistaken.
that's the way it should be. I mean, just like Heather said in the trial. Um, but before the hearing, let's have another hearing to argue about uh, if we should even have an open hearing, or it should be a closed hearing, or should be a public hearing.
Yeah.
It just feels like all these motions and all these hearings are dragging the trial out.
Were you able to find that video or that podcast that you were looking for, Kiki?
You're muted.
Okay. I was just saying, I was just letting you guys talk. Yeah, I have it right here. Let me present it to you. All right. So I actually have a little playlist here. Let me stop my camera for a second.
Tennille actually has a good question. How long does a death row case usually take?
That's a great question. I mean, I wonder if AR is in this chat. He might be able to answer that first. Do you know 12?
Well, some of the ones that I've seen, even the serial killer ones, have taken 3 years. You know, 2.5, 3 years. I haven't heard of anything longer than that, though. I was I did a live today, or not a live, but an upload on Danny Rowling, the Gainesville Ripper, and his case took, I think, 3 years.
3 years to go to trial, or was that
Yeah, 3 years to go to trial.
All right. So as I was mentioning before, I know that there's people watching who either might be new to the case or might not know who we're talking about. So I'm going to play 2 shorts that I found on YouTube that show some of Cyray's testimony. And then there's a clip from Heather. There's a little short video in here from Heather Fitzgerald that also emphasizes Cyray's testimony. And then after those play, we're going to get into the 20 minutes from the Socialite Crime Club that was on today. So just stay tuned.
Be there or be square.
Right.
Given the timing of these records, from what I can tell in the emails that were produced by Detective Mallory, these records were generated on the 23rd of December. It's when everything started with probable cause statements. If I had to pick a time when the wheels fell off the wagon, that's the date. There are statements and there's assumptions made in the records that will never be supported by the data. There's a lot of claims that are said in these emails, and even the name files of the records are problematic. It does not represent what it's claimed to represent. It could be extremely impactful to either side. I'm not saying just in defending Mr. Koberger. It could be extremely impactful in prosecuting Mr. Koberger. The problem's the problem, not what the data helps or hurts. Everything that I've seen to date is concerning to me because it's exculpatory. And I need to clarify this. When all of the records are produced and the dust settles and I have time to review it, I reserve the right to say, no, now I'm seeing everything. Here's what I'm seeing. Because of the piecemealing of the data, because of the missing data, because of data that I'm reviewing that is incredibly inaccurate, everything that is missing is absolutely in the benefit of the defense right now. There's other reports that I believe are missing that I can't tell you are in the benefit of Mr. Koberger or in the benefit of the state. If I was contacted on December 1st by Moscow Police Department, there are things I would have absolutely said, you get this today. Do not hesitate, and especially come December 23rd. Not because of who it's helpful for, but because those documents are the only things we're going to get that's going to be able to allow us to interpret what it really means.
Now talking about item 242. The cast report. The history of this is we came to the court asking for the cast report, knowing it was relied upon last year, and the court ordered that we receive it. We received one that was stamped draft all over it. You've heard testimony about that today from Mr. Ray, and it's not a final report, and we knew that when we got it. We asked for that. We asked for the analysis behind that, and we haven't received that. We were told on February 23rd of this year that the state will provide this by March 31st. Well, March 31st came and went, and we did not get it. So on April 23rd, the state said we still don't have it. And then on May the 10th, the state responded to this request and said that because we provided additional information, Mr. Koberger's alibi, they need more time to do work on this cast report, and they'll get it to us later.
Josh and Zach show up at Larkin's house.
So now that I've debriefed you, for those that don't know who Cyray is, and you've heard a little bit of his testimony, Cyray is also a YouTube creator with his wife, Carrie, and they have an awesome channel called Socialite Crime Club. And they do these podcasts, and they use Cy's expertise and training to just make the podcasts are really rich, and they're filled with a lot of knowledge and a lot of technical stuff. So anyway, just to give a brief description of his channel. But we're going to cut to the 20-minute mark at the end of his latest episode, and we'll link all this after afterwards. Hold on. I'm going to start right about here, and I'm going to stop and pause and talk about it as we go.
Yeah, I couldn't believe his wife called out Nancy Grace either.
Yeah, she's a badass, isn't she? Yeah, it's so so no spoiler alert. We do have a Nancy Grace call out at the end of this, which is pretty cool, because she's been very vocal lately. Let's put it
more like sensationalized.
You know what? You nailed it. I chose the wrong choice of words for me. You're right. All right, let's go.
We don't need to go down the rabbit hole of who they are. You just need to look at backgrounds. And I'll give some examples here. Knowledge is great, but you have to have the wisdom that accompanies that knowledge. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that, knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit.
Okay.
Wisdom is knowing that that doesn't mean I'm putting it in my fruit salad.
Yeah, no. Ew.
Right. And a lot of these experts, they might have knowledge because they read something, they heard something, they watched something. But there's a whole different part of that wisdom of how you apply it. The skills that you get from presenting this stuff over and over again.
Right.
Lessons that you learn. And I think more than anything, when I get these emails or these text messages, and I'll try to watch, and I watch like 30 seconds, and I'm like, I can't deal with this. But it always falls back to that of people making statements about things that they really don't know about. The other thing I would encourage our socialites to do is when you hear...
he's going to get... They just skip forward and they're going to get to one of the major points right now too. But I really liked this analogy between wisdom and knowledge. And you can have an expert on or something. It's different. Having an expert on it is different than having someone who's well-versed in something, because they don't functionally necessarily know how that knowledge is going to come into play. So it kind of puts a little bit of responsibility on the viewer too, is just take a few minutes and listen to, find out who you're talking to. Should you really be taking what they're saying literally, or as,
like he says, 5 minutes of fame.
Oh yeah. Oh, that reminds me, I should upload a couple pictures while he's talking to emphasize the story.
Experts talking about this, do some background. Google their name, Google their business, Google some of the cases that they've worked in. And an example of this would be if your primary business plan is defending child molesters and people who traffic in sexual exploitation of children, we aren't in the same field.
No.
We aren't in the same universe. Your expertise and my expertise are not the same.
And you can't actually prove that they didn't commit those crimes. You're just still backing it up.
Don't get me wrong. Everybody needs a good defense. Everybody's entitled to it.
So it's really interesting here. And I don't want to put words into anybody's mouth, but doesn't it sound like he's calling out one of his critics here, a specific critic? He's saying that somebody clued him in, one of his socialites clued him in, and he's, and then what he's saying, and if he is, I wonder who that could be. So who has been critical of Cy Ray recently?
Hester Fitzgerald said not Joe Rogan.
I know, his shirt cracks me up. And then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? Look at that. He kind of does look like a little bit like Joe Rogan.
Who has been critical of him?
I'm not going to say out loud, but I'm just putting that to the audience. So let's listen on what Cy has to say about his critics.
A good defense. I'm not judging because he's working in defending those people. What I'm saying is when that is the entire backbone of your business plan,
at a minimum, he should be just defending the work product that the state is presenting.
Correct.
Right?
I have seen some videos from one of these experts that was spewing all kinds of information the other day, where he's actually putting videos out on how to defend people who have child pornography and who are trafficking in child pornography.
Regardless if they did it or not.
Yeah, and that's problematic for me. Like, we're not the same person. The other thing that's really interesting is I've seen some work product from the same person where it really, really attacks the FBI in the way that the FBI maps phone records and the CAS team specifically. More importantly, He believes that all cell tower information is junk science. There's multiple work product that he has kicked out publicly. There's videos people can just Google and watch where he's very anti cell phone mapping because it's junk science. Yet when it helps him, he wants to tout that his business partners are people with the FBI CAS team.
And I'm going to pause right there. So that's really interesting. I mean, when we're thinking about,
it's got to be someone with the state.
well, it's interesting because he does reference the gag order coming up. And I think that kind of narrows it down a little bit. But yeah, we'll just keep playing on.
I wouldn't say Bill Thompson.
No, I'm not thinking Bill Thompson.
Who do nothing but cell phone records.
Yeah, so there's a problem here where when I'm getting paid and I need to present one side of this argument in court, I do it. And then I see, oh, there's a business plan. I'm going to push out some public information to grow my business plan. Mm-hmm. But then the next day, it makes it good for me to be part of this organization. So now they're my business partners. It doesn't work that way.
Why am I imagining the little mayor in Nightmare Before Christmas? He has two faces. His head spins one way, and then the next minute his head is facing another way.
Yeah, right. And there's one other thing I want to touch on, and then we're going to move on here. There are certain cases we don't talk about because we can't talk about it. We are under court gags from time to time, and there's multiple cases I've had this happen. But what people need to understand is when a judge issues a gag order on a case like this, it's not the judge saying, I would really appreciate it if you didn't do this. It is a lawful court order, which means you violate that, you can be criminally charged. You can actually go to jail. So I want our socialites to just take a second. If you see an expert on YouTube who is claiming to have reviewed evidence on a case where a gag order has been issued and then is now giving you his opinion of that evidence before the trial, one of two things is happening. A, he just committed a crime that he can be indicted for. Or B, the more probable one, he is totally full of it. There's no other option here. If you reviewed evidence and you have an opinion, that evidence is sealed by a gag order, and now you're making your opinion public on YouTube, you committed a crime. Or you're just a liar.
Interesting.
Yeah, so let's go with a happy thought here.
Okay, so let's pause here, and this is
Look in the back chat, Kiki.
Okay, hold on. Okay. So I'm sorry. It sounds like there's a little bit of choppiness in this playback. Is that what you're saying, Robert?
No, it was, but yeah, look below it. Chris McGraw names the person that he's talking about in this video.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think we got some feedback there from the mic there, but yeah, I mean, it's people are gonna guess.
Yeah.
I know. We try to refrain from keeping people's first and last names out of the chat, but the fact is that the actual document that he could be referencing has been a pretty big headline here on YouTube.
Yeah, OCD Shaggy is saying the same thing. He used the person's last name.
Well, it's also the name of his company. So that's where it gets a little tricky too. But I appreciate that, Robert. Really do appreciate that. We definitely want to try and keep the chat clean, and try and keep creators' names out of it.
Yeah.
But I was going to make a point, and I'm actually going to rewind it because I want you guys to hear what he said again, because I really want this to be clear with what I'm about to say.
Good for me to be part of this organization. So now they're my business partners. It doesn't work that way.
Why am I imagining the little mayor in Nightmare Before Christmas? He has two faces. His head spins one way, and then the next minute his head is facing another way.
Yeah, right. And there's one other thing I want to touch on, and then we're going to move on here. There are certain cases we don't talk about because we can't talk about it. We are under court gags from time to time, and there's multiple cases I've had this happen. But what people need to understand is when a judge issues a gag order on a case like this, it's not the judge saying, I would really appreciate it if you didn't do this. It is a lawful court order, which means you violate that, you can be criminally charged. You can actually go to jail. So I want our socialites to just take a second. If you see an expert on YouTube who is claiming to have reviewed evidence on a case where a gag order has been issued and then is now giving you his opinion of that evidence before the trial, one of two things is happening. A, he just committed a crime that he can be indicted for. Or B, the more probable one, he is totally full of it. There's no other option here. If you reviewed evidence and you have an opinion, that evidence is sealed by a gag order, and now you're making your opinion public on YouTube, you committed a crime. Or you're just a liar.
Interesting.
Yeah. So let's go with a happy thought here. My parting thought for our socialites, and I've got to do a couple shout outs.
This is the shout out, but before I get to that, I really want you guys' opinion on this. My camera isn't working. So we've heard a ton of people come out and make claims as being like witnesses in the Idaho 4. And what he just said really got me thinking. What he is saying is if there's a gag order and somebody comes forth with evidence, now remember, evidence could be used for the defense or the prosecution. So it could be the prosecution could use it, or it could be exculpatory. Either way, if evidence is handed over, I've always thought maybe, like, for example, we'll use Dave, the phone call that came in, just as a hypothetical example. If Dave had information that was close to the case that he handed over to police, I always thought, well, maybe if it was irrelevant evidence, he'd be able to just keep on talking and talking, like there was no big deal. But what Sai is saying is that anybody who's turned over evidence, I mean, it's not like they get a notice in the mail saying you're gag ordered. They are under a gag order if they've involved themselves in the case. So they're either under the gag order or they're lying, is what he's saying. So my question is like, we have all these people, and I put a lot of trust into some of these people. You know, I'm not going to make any names right now in this live stream public, but I will say that makes me wonder. If you actually turn something into a police, why are you not under that gag order right now? Because Sai says you wouldn't be able to talk because you'd go to jail or you're lying. And he says the same thing about people who are coming out that say they have information that's pertinent to the case, even like professionals that have been coming out recently. They either have something close to the case and they're gagged, or they're lying. So, I mean, that's what Sai said. And I think we should all remember, we've played it twice now. Before he does my shout out, I really just feel it is so important. I want to play it one more time to drive home the point. So, hold on.
I agree with you, Kiki.
Thank you so much, Robert. I just think this is really insightful because he is a witness for the defense in this case. He knows the rules.
Yeah, but do we really know if he's actually going to testify?
Hold on,
what people need to understand is when a judge issues a gag order on.
What was that, Robert?
Do we really know if he's actually going to testify?
We don't, but I mean, I don't think it matters either way. I think if you're involved in the case, you're under, what he's saying is, if you're involved in the case,
you're under a gag order.
You're under a gag order, or you're lying if you're out here in public. And think of all the people we have on our list who we thought were like quasi witnesses or had information that wasn't pertinent that we've allowed, to talk to and whatnot. He's saying
I believe those people that you're talking about, if they kind of like what you just said about the chat about using first and last names, I believe if they gave up names, I believe that would be what you're talking about as far as supplying information that is viewed as evidentiary versus just being very general on what you're talking about, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But I mean, I've literally had people on this show who have called out first, last names, the witnesses, the people out front of the house, the people who frequented the house, the people who did drugs
Well,
inside
yeah,
the
they should be. You know, that is a crime.
That's what I'm saying is like,
Yeah.
how could they be telling the truth? And if you don't, and again, for anyone tuning in who doesn't know why I'm driving this point home so hard, let's just listen one more time to how Cy describes this under a gag order in this case.
Because we can't talk about it. We are under court gags from time to time, and there's multiple cases I've had this happen. But what people need to understand is when a judge issues a gag order on a case like this, it's not the judge saying, I would really appreciate it if you didn't do this. It is a lawful court order, which means you violate that, you can be criminally charged. You can actually go to jail. So I want our socialites to just take a second. If you see an expert on YouTube who is claiming to have reviewed evidence on a case where a gag order has been issued and then is now giving you his opinion of that evidence before the trial, one of two things is happening. A, he just committed a crime that he can be indicted for. Or B, the more probable one, he is totally full of it. There's no other option here. If you reviewed evidence and you have an opinion, that evidence is sealed by a gag order, and now you're making your opinion public on YouTube, you committed a crime. Or you're just a liar.
Interesting.
Yeah. So let's go with a happy thought here. My parting thought for our socialites, and I've got to do a couple shout outs right here. There is another YouTube channel called Swamp Rose. And I have to be honest, when I got an email from Swamp Rose, I'm like, what is Swamp Rose? I think her name is Kiki. So Kiki reached out to me and she says, hey, I have a guest that I want to bring on my show. And he said he knows you. And it was kind of this weird chat conversation that I was in. And he name dropped you and said that, no, even Cy Ray can validate who I am. And I've got to give it to Kiki, Swamp Rose, where she actually reached out to me and said, hey, I want to bring this guy on my show. He's saying I can validate who he is through you. What do you know about him?
And her email was very articulate.
Yeah.
She's
great. And we'll put a little link to
nice.
her channel. It's official Swamp Rose. If you just Google that for YouTube, you'll get to her channel. So I start doing a little bit of research and she sends me this guy's YouTube channel, and it's Matt. He claims to be some type of Homeland Security expert that worked for Homeland Security.
Is that even a real guy? It looks like a model or
yeah, 100%.
It's like a stock image.
Yeah. So I start doing some background research and I find out this guy's totally full of crap. It's a fake channel. It's a fake person. In fact, I think a lot of it is written by AI. When she reaches out for him to confirm, hey, you said you know Cy. He's like, oh, yeah, we served together in Iraq. He'll know me as Rear Admiral Abernathy, which just so everybody's clear, in the Navy, that's a general. So, yeah, I know this Rear Admiral Abernathy in Iraq.
Picture is not someone who is a general.
Right. So the first red flag, I've never been to Iraq. I was in Afghanistan. So that's a problem. When I Google Rear Admiral Abernathy, it's a real dude from World War II. He's actually kind of a war hero. So it's pretty clear that someone's probably using AI to help bolster some of their stuff. AI is pulling out these names because it's seeing this in the data. And if you just take a little bit of time to Google this stuff, it's pretty easy to find. So I reached back out to Kiki at Swamp Rose and I'm like, hey, this guy's completely full of it. Run away. Do not put him on your show. She reached back, couldn't thank me enough, was super nice. Well, a couple weeks later, again, I don't keep up with a lot of the YouTube channels. She is doing a panel on the Drunk Turkey show, and we'll put a link to their show. We'll give them a little plug as well. And it's long. This panel goes for a couple hours. At the 2-hour, 25-minute, roughly 56-second mark, she actually states, hey, I want to say I reached out to Cy, and here was my experience with him. But she's talking about the experience of vetting potential experts who want to come in and say whatever it is they can say for their 5 minutes of fame. And I want to throw this out there. We are happy to take these emails. We're happy to take these calls. I am happy to help vet people. I'm happy to vet their work product. At the end of the day, one of the reasons we did Socialite Crime Club is I watched other things and I was like, that's not right. There's no way that is accurate.
Well, more importantly, you can say why.
Well, and that's just it. And if people ask, I'm happy to say why. Now, I can't talk about certain cases and I won't talk about certain cases, but there's other things I can absolutely help with. But I do feel that YouTube creators and guests on YouTube channels have a responsibility to stay accurate, to not just make stuff up, because it really brings the entire community down to where pretty soon, I can't watch true crime because it's all fake.
Well, quite frankly, I don't think it's just YouTube creators. It's investigative journalists.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
these reporters, Nancy Grace, for instance.
Oh, you're going after the queen.
I am.
Yeah.
I feel like there could be much, I don't know, there could be more effort and really
I have a
understanding.
word: sensationalism. How much can I sensationalize this victim? How much can I sensationalize these victims' parents?
Right. It just turns for me into rabbit hole crime. It's very conspiratorial. And
We don't have that in our socialite crime titles, do we? Do we have rabbit hole?
We do have rabbit hole crime, but it's probably one that we'll never use as a theme.
Right.
We'll talk about it.
All right. So let's wrap that up. And that's where I wanted this episode to go at the end. Is we want to show our work product because it speaks for itself. And I hope that this was a really good example for our socialites. The other thing is vet. We are offering our help and services in vetting processes. Whatever we can do, we're happy to do it. And we've given a couple examples of where we have.
Thank you for joining us today, socialites. We look forward to seeing you next week.
You're at home, your modest house.
All right, so we'll stop right there. So 12, is this your first time seeing this?
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think of my little shout out there?
I was going to say congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so
Awesome.
flattered.
Yes, it's well deserved for you, Kiki. It is. It's well deserved after everything that you've been through here on YouTube. You deserve that.
I'm just so grateful I had the resource of Cy and Carrie to actually help me out a little bit. And I learned so much, and just listening to what he says about, I mean, we really don't look at ourselves as a media source, and we should. Like, we do this community, this true crime community, this ultra specific niche that we're in, Idaho 4 niche. We do a lot of coverage, and we do have a responsibility to our viewers, because like he said, people are going to not tune into true crime if they think it's all fake. And I do just want to say all the nice things Cy said. I just want to say I was so impressed by the way that Carrie didn't even flinch, and she called out Nancy Grace's sensationalism. I thought that was pretty amazing, actually. So
Exactly.
Well, she does kind of throw, Nancy Grace does kind of throw this sensationalism when it comes to the cases that she covers. Like, I witnessed, my wife was watching Nancy Grace here a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, actually. And Nancy Grace was sitting there making fun of Brian. Yeah, had these rubber gloves on. Oh, wait, yeah, let me touch my coffee cup. Oh, yeah, I have gloves on so my fingerprints won't get on it. And she was just making fun of Brian and making fun of Ann Taylor at the same time, saying that she wished she could pop Ann Taylor's head like a pimple.
I remember people talking about that. How cruel. I mean,
What?
I didn't tune in myself, but yeah, I that reminds me, I had brought one thing up. This is slightly off subject, but when Cy first started talking, he mentioned something called Nellos, and I had no idea what he was talking about. So and again, I'm not trying to trail off subject, but I thought, because the word was mentioned and I wasn't familiar with it, I'd bring it up here and just tell you what he was talking about. It was like in the first sentence. And basically, so I'll just read you this. This is the Nellos website. It has a whole bunch of different infrastructure things on this, but in general, what it is Nello is a global leader in design and fabrication of galvanized steel towers and poles. We service a wide variety of industries, specializing in wireless, self-supporting towers, guided towers, and monopoles, as well as tapered utility poles, transitional poles, and structures. So when he was talking about the caste system, if interpreted properly, is very reliable. And so I thought I'd bring that up. Oh gosh, Twiz said something. Oh, that's it? God, okay. Well, don't listen to anything I said then. Let me take that off the screen. Twiz, you're welcome to come up and explain it to us.
Yeah, Twiz, you're welcome to come up if you want to. But What do you think the outcome will be tomorrow during the hearing? Do you think we'll see a change of venue, or do you think we'll see a denial of a change of venue? That's for you, Kiki.
Oh, okay. Well, I personally do think that there is going to be a change of venue. But then again, I'm probably not all the way there. I'd say I'm probably at about 70-30. I don't know which way the judge is going to go. What about you, 12? What are your thoughts on that?
I believe that somehow or some way it's going to be prolonged or drawn out. I don't believe that we're going to hear one way or the other for a little bit. I mean, I hope that we hear fairly quickly, but as far as the change of venue, I don't know. I believe wherever he can get a fair trial, that's where he needs to be. Everybody in that courtroom in any place in America needs to be in the fair presence of their peers to be able to judge them whether they're guilty or not guilty. That's what I believe.
In a fair presence of your peers. I like the way that you put that. It's got to be across. So what Christy Gonzalez recently said, because we saw them in the dedication kneeling memorial, she said the cross section of peers should be out of here. This is where this happened. But that, my reply to that is, it's a strong argument. It's a legitimate argument, but that's not our system. Our system is the Sixth Amendment. You have the right to a fair trial. And so Twiz actually, hold on, I'm on the wrong page here. Twiz actually just sent me what Nelos is actually. So let me bring this up.
I like how Cy was talking about accountability. That's what it sounded like to me, that he was hoping to, when he was talking about vetting people and how you vetted that individual, that you were holding that person accountable so that other people can see that it's not a joke, that it is real, and that there are malicious people out there willing to spread harmful theories or narratives or whatever for their own agenda.
Yeah.
And like, it's so strange too, because for me, I couldn't understand, I think when I first started covering true crime, what the motivation for that would be. Because you think, oh, it's just money. And I couldn't believe anyone would actually do that for clout or anything like that. I've heard people say that it has something to do with social media addiction. But then after covering true crime, you start, and I don't want to call out any creators, but you go all the way back to that Sandy Hook elementary school shooting. And we had a YouTuber who knelt down and started crying at the shrine. And newscasts thought he looked very emotional. So they went up to him. And again, this is a well-known, extremely one of the most well-known true crimer YouTubers out there. And they went up to him and they asked him why he was crying. And he said, oh, because I'm the uncle of the shooter. He just made that up on the fly. I'm telling you, and the news station started asking him questions. He was interviewed. He was featured all over the place. Nobody checked him. And when he was asked why he did it, he said he wants to expose the mainstream media for not checking their sources. And this person went on, and they have a lot of examples of he calls it trolling. And then he would call it exposing his troll on social media. And so yeah, I never knew that people would actually do that. And then you actually have people with hidden agendas. They're wanting to influence the case in one way or another, or trying to cause some sort of chaos or trying to cause confusion. And that's the way that they're trying to influence the case. They're not an actual troll. They're a disinformation or misinformation agent. And some of them, unfortunately, are paid. Sorry, I'm talking a lot, you guys.
That's fine. That's fine. You're right, because, there's people that get on these platforms or panels, I guess, and maybe we should vet them a little better. I mean, I'm speaking for myself, when I say we, I'm speaking for myself. Maybe I need to start vetting people a little better, because sometimes, you don't know exactly what's going to come out their mouths, or exactly how they're going to influence the narrative. And sometimes it's more harmful than helpful.
So I so agree, 12. And I think it goes beyond just having a guest who might possibly be a witness or be involved in the case. It's calling on experts. And that was what Sai was saying too, is, I mean, let's just say I did have an expert on my show who wasn't an actual expert. It would, that itself, that's spreading misinformation, because I took my platform and I said that this person has something to say. Please, my audience, can you trust them the way that you trust me? That's essentially what I'm saying when someone comes on my show, is that I have put trust into what this person is saying. Unless I'm coming right out and saying, I don't know. So I've had guests on my show that were in my live chat, and I've had them jump up. And I think in the future, I don't know how I will necessarily handle that, because this lesson has just taught me how important betting is.
I mean, do you believe that, like what he was saying, as far as people start, because I've heard in the last couple of days, I guess, I've heard a person going around spreading a lot of things that, I haven't heard before. And, you were talking about, individuals being under the gag order. How are they able to spread that maliciousness without being investigated? Are we beyond the gag order on the YouTube streets, or are we just as liable? And are we all going to get investigated after the fact? I mean, because sometimes we don't say "I believe" or "my opinion." We talk as is, what we're saying is legitimate. I've done it. I've done it a lot of times. Sometimes I don't say "I believe" or "in my opinion." I guess based on what I was just asking, do you believe that the individuals that are speaking in a narrative that goes against innocence, do you believe that they should be held liable under the gag order?
Okay, so that's a tough one, because I think it sort of conflates two things for me, and which would be your civil liability and your criminal liability in the case. So if somebody is going around and they are saying something that they know is false, and they're repeating it, and if they're making money off it, then the definition of that is called fraud. So that is criminal. But if they're spreading misinformation and it's damaging another person so that that person is losing money that's provable in court, that's called defamation. And if you can prove monetary loss by defamation, then you have a civil case. Now, as far as like people who are involved in the case and talking, we've received mixed comments on this, and I'm going to read a couple of them. Candy Girl says, I think the gag order is only for people that are actively involved in the case. And you might be right, Candy Girl. I don't know. I'm just going by what Sai was saying in that. What do you think, you guys?
I mean, because the reason I was asking that long-winded question was, I believe some of these people that are spreading these narratives, these false narratives, they're going to lean on their mental health capacity in one sense or the other, because they do bring up their mental health a lot. And I believe that they feel that they're not responsible based on, I'm not mentally stable, or I have had issues in the past with my mental stability, or blaming other people for their mental stability, whichever the case may be.
Well, I tend to agree with Candy Girl. I think the gag order only applies for those who are like actively involved in the case, like Ann Taylor, like Bill Thompson, like the judge, um, like the other, like Logston and Masseth and Jennings. What's weird is how come the gag order didn't extend to the families? since they're technically involved with the case, because it was their children who were murdered.
I don't know. Is it only evidence-based 12, or do they typically just have anyone who might be called as I don't know. What do you think? In that case, Robert, I don't know, because I would think a family member under most circumstances could be called as some sort of witness, a character witness or something.
Yes. I believe that if anything, the parent could be called as like you said, a character witness to kind of give a history of the loved one that are no longer here to speak on themselves.
All right, and we have a couple more comments that might clear this up. I just so this there's two from Thomas that I thought were really interesting, and so Thomas, just so you know, is a mod over at Thou Shalt Not Kill and Tommy Jude's channel and Golf Inspector General. I just found that out last night, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. So Thomas says, unless an individual is a material witness or otherwise called to testify, the individual is not bound by the gag order. So, okay, we have a couple witnesses who have came out and given what could be interpreted as the exculpatory evidence, possibly in this case. We have, I have two right on the tip of my tongue I want to bring up. And they say they turned that evidence over to police. So the question is why? So why do they get to continue talking? Because here's the thing is, how do they know that evidence isn't going to be used in court?
Yeah. I mean, just like here Mikey S just said as well. Yes, gag order does not apply to anyone outside the case, not media, not creators, not even family members.
Okay, so what about, and again, I'm not going to name names, but I specifically know people who are continuing talking who say that the timeline is off in the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have said that they've claimed that to police. So in that instance, I would assume the gag order would apply to them if they've submitted that to police as evidence. And what Ray said is either you don't talk because you're scared you're going to go to jail, or you're lying. It's one or the other. And that's what I'm wondering now. And I actually am to the point where I think I might just get a lawyer on the show to figure this out with us. There's another great. Oh, I'm sorry, Robert. I apologize.
I sent something to your Discord DM that was sent to me.
Okay.
I believe more often than not, they're probably lying. Whether they can be held liable, I mean, if they can, I'm sure that eventually, if there's enough paper brought in their lives that they can validate, then charges will be filed on what you said about defamation and even talking about the case.
Yeah. One more comment that I thought might get a little more precise with this too, that Thomas made. He said, once law enforcement or another officer of the court, the non-dissemination order takes effect. Law enforcement and officers of the court. I think. Yeah. So we have 37 new comments since I started talking about that. Yeah, and I mean, look, I certainly am gonna. I'm certainly going to expand on this. I don't want to call anybody out. I do want to bring up one starred comment before we get off the subject. So this picture right here, hold on, I got to go to my starred comments. That's Too Fast up in the corner. I just thought I'd blame that up, guys, because it's his 15 minutes of fame too. There you go. All right, so I thought since we were talking about evidence turned over that could be potential evidence and somebody talking freely on YouTube, I thought I had a good example of that. Let me bring up this video that I made. So we had, oh, it's not here. Oh yeah, it's this one right here. Let me pause this. So recently we were talking about Garrett Discovery and that they had, and again, I'm not doing this because I'm trying to call out an individual creator, but this was the only example that I really could have that with this knowledge that Cy Ray just said to us, how could I apply it to some of the other things that I know? And I had made this video. It's not public right now, but I talk about some of the issues I've seen with the Garrett discovery. So let's say Garrett, if he submitted this to the prosecution and the defense, I mean, putting NDA aside, why is he not under the gag order? And then even so, we heard that more information was submitted after the interview on YouTube was scheduled. They were told not to speak, but then they came out and spoke more. They were told on 2 or 3 occasions. And I'm not contradicting or saying that's not true. I'm just saying what Cy just said is you probably will go to jail if you do that, or you're lying. So I don't know. I mean, any immediate thoughts before I play my video? What do you think of that? I mean,
I'm still speechless.
I mean, do you know what I'm referencing? Like they said they had found some connections in social media and cell phone evidence to BK, and they submitted it to the prosecution, but they're still talking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
That don't
just
make it right.
It doesn't make it right, but it doesn't really make sense by what we just learned, right?
Yeah, just like
It's
Rolo
almost-
just said,
Go ahead.
Gonzalez's lawyer is gagged and talks more than MSM.
Wait, say that again.
Rolo Moda just said Gonzalez's lawyer is gagged and talks more than MSM.
Oh.
I mean, which is true. If people are going to think I'm talking about Steve Gonzalez, I'm going to talk about Shannon Gray. Yeah, there's 2 SGs involved: Shannon Gray and Steve Gonzalez. Shannon Gray, he's under a gag order, but yet he still does interviews with the Gonzalez's. Isn't that violating his gag order?
I believe that if he's not specifically talking about the case or any areas of the case, as long as he's answering generalized questions, I think he's within the realms. I could be wrong, though.
Thank you, Angel D.
Thank you, Angel D. Yeah, and I had showed I had showed the Shannon Gray hearing, because that was about leaked information and explaining the non-dissemination order and how it applies. But in the interview, we heard FF was told not to speak 3 times. I thought. And if you have to be hired, what if she found evidence, like she said, and submitted it to the prosecution? They wouldn't have to hire her to make the evidence she submitted be under gag, I would assume. I don't know. I'm posing it all to you guys.
AR just said, no, it's not a violation of the gag order. People need to better understand who is under the gag order and why.
Would you like to come up and explain it to us, AR? Cats are fighting. Oh, wait, hold on. Sunny Spirit says, Tools is like, I seriously have so much I want to speak with you. Oh, wait, this is not for us. Sorry. I don't know. But I do know that we will get to the bottom of it. It's just this podcast just came out and we're reflecting on this information that we heard from an expert. And so I thought it'd be really interesting to bring it to you guys. And
I believe that some people need to be gagged. I really do. I believe some people on these YouTube streets that are spreading all this false information or claiming to have inside information, such as, specifics, they either should be investigated or gagged as a potential witness for the trial, because they're basically showing their perception of their side of the innocence or guilt, trying to sway people's opinion. And isn't that what we all want, is a fair trial? So how are they allowed to be swaying people's opinion on here?
AR just said, I appreciate the invite, but I'm setting it out. Appreciate all three of how and appreciate your hard work. He's giving us all three compliments.
Well, here's the thing: is I can't see AR's comments. I think he's blocked from me.
No,
Like,
he's not blocked.
I can't see him. Where's his? I'll figure it out later. I don't want to hold up the chat. I wish I could display his comment though.
Thanks, AR.
It's at 11:05 p.m. my time.
Oh, okay. 11:05. Oh, then it's 12:05 my time. Wow, there's like so many comments at 11:04. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, AR, no pressure. But we're glad that you're participating in the chat, and we're happy you're watching right now.
Yes. And we are praying for you, brother.
Yep, amen.
No, you're not blocked.
Wait, is your wrench gone? Oh, no. Okay, good.
No, your wrench is not gone, brother. Even Granny Andy says AR is blue. He is modding. Howdy, AR. He goes, never mind, I was wrong.
Hold on. Mikey says, yeah, it's exactly 100% 12. Keep it fact-based. Filling in the gaps with if he did this or what if this happens or he couldn't blah, blah is just storytelling. I'm so happy the process is getting real with deadlines. Yeah. And I have to remind myself when I plan these shows, when I plan these shows, I just have to remind myself, stay out of the rabbit holes. Let's stick to the paperwork. Let's stick to the case. AR says he's not sure when he's going to be back on YouTube. It could be a while. If you all know, AR is definitely part of our crew. We do a lot of live streams with AR. He gives us a lot of support and a lot of viewership. If you all could please go visit his channel and just give him a like or a sub and go watch a video. He's got a great channel focusing a lot on Idaho 4, and he could really use the encouragement right now. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to put up you guys' banners so that you guys know, so that the folks know where to find you. So 12 gauge, is this still your handle?
Yes.
All right. So this is where you can find 12. 12, do you have anything coming up this week you want to tell the folks about?
I'm pretty spontaneous lately. I just don't have anything that I know of. I'm keeping it low key. I have a lot of school stuff coming up, so just focusing more on that.
Yeah, how is school going anyway?
Going well. It should be June 2025. I'll be done.
June 2025? That's like right around when this case starts, so you'll be freed up.
Yes. I want to go to Moscow in November, though. Might meet up with Twizzle if he's game.
Yeah, I want to go too, but I haven't made any plans. If you do go out 12, we'll have a whole list of we need you to do places to visit, people.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my video camera, my GoPro, all that good stuff, and try to be incognito. I mean, I don't know how incognito I'll be, but it's worth a try.
And then I don't know if I did this banner right. You're gonna have to tell me. Robert, is this your new banner?
It's Robert with True Crime Podcast.
Okay, Robert.
Just like on my little icon on the screen.
And that is your actual handle if people want to find you at Robert at True Crime Podcast.
Yes, and 162 at the end.
Oh, hold on. 162. All right, hold on. I think I got this. Does that look right?
Yep, that's it. What?
Okay.
Leave the Colt out.
Oh, let me adjust that. We don't want people.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, folks. So this is Robert's handle. Robert is my streaming buddy. He streams with me almost every live stream. Robert, what do you have coming up this week for plans for your channel?
Well, you and I have that dual stream going tomorrow morning for the hearing. It starts. I talked to Twizzle. It starts at 9. It starts at 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is 11 a.m. my time, which is 12 p.m. your time.
Yeah, and so Robert and I will giving you we'll be giving you reaction on the spot, and we're gonna do a dual stream, and it's gonna be a good day. We're gonna take the time to really cover everything with you guys. So let me take this comment down so they can see your handle. So make sure you visit Robert's channel. What else do you have going on this week, Robert?
I'm working on a couple of videos. I've been going through my notes, that I have written down. Watching some videos. I've written some notes down about them, and I'm going to basically dissect my notes and go over my notes. And then Saturday at 7 p.m., I'm having a true crime chat live stream.
Oh. And do you have any guests planned?
I was hoping maybe you, or if I see Jeff in the chat, if Jeff wants to join panel, he can join panel. So that would be 8:00 your time, Kiki.
And this is on Saturday?
Yeah.
I'm writing it down. Hey, while we're talking about people in the chat, I love Bubbly Waters. If you're watching right now, I need to get a hold of you for research. In fact, I want Bubbly on the show because I really want her to talk on something. So Bubs, if you're watching, please comment back to me. So,
Kiki, I'm going to be working on the Brady Giglio stuff a little more in this case. I just haven't figured out the angle of it yet. We're still working on the Brady Giglio, and I was thinking about the French motion as well, how to intertwine all that together, because they kind of go simultaneously in a very contorted way. So I don't know when I'll be doing that. Like I said, I'm very busy, but that's been on my mind lately.
Well, 12, I was participated with you the last time we went over Brady Giglio, and I learned so much, and I understood after that live stream 7 different ways that Brady Giglio, and sorry if I'm saying it wrong, can be applied, and how it affects cases and how it affects evidence. And if you are doing that again, I would be honored if you had me back on to talk about it, because it was just so informative, and it really did help me speak from knowledge. So yeah, if you're looking for on-panel guest, I'd love you there when you do that.
And I just dropped a video today, and it was basically the introduction to my new channel. And I also went over the court docs that you were going over earlier.
You did. How long is the video?
About 25 minutes.
I mean, the reason I ask is because, really, I just had, sorry, I'm like trying to pull back coughing. I really only have the 2 segments tonight. After Cyber gave me the shout out, but if you'd like, we could, it's up to you guys if you want to hang around. I guess we only have been on for an hour and a half. I don't mind playing the video and showing some comments, because the only thing I have left is I wanted to end the stream the way I've been ending them recently, by playing a tribute video. And I actually have my own tribute video that I edited at the 1 year anniversary. And so why don't we play your video, Robert, and then we'll play my tribute video. And if that sounds good for you guys, what do you think?
Yep.
That sounds great.
All right. All right, let me pull up Robert's channel here. Oops. Wrong category.
You know, if you guys are into like watching a training video, I did a live the other day on the court process, and I had 2 judges on there and 2 attorneys, a defense attorney and a prosecutor, and they were outlining the case dynamics from the beginning to the end, and they were talking about all this stuff that we're talking about right now.
Oh, cool.
But it's a long video, but it has tons of information for the trial coming up, you know, so people can actually learn about the process if they're interested, you know.
All right, this is what I'm going to do real quick. Since that one's too long for the stream, what I'm going to do is pull up your channel and show the folks the thumbnail so they know where to find that. And then we're going to go over to Robert's channel and play his new video. So first, let me show the folks 12's channel. So this is 12 Gauge Investigates right here. And if you go to his live stream tab, is it this one with the truck on it?
No, that's the one I did earlier.
Okay.
It's the one with the gavel. Go to the second row.
Right here. True crime. Let's go to court and view the breakdown. So it's an hour and a half. That looks like a perfect size podcast. I'll definitely be checking that out tomorrow, 12. And it was, just so you guys know, it was 4 days ago. If you're looking, you know, just to make sure you can find it. So please go visit 12's channel again. Representing the Longhorns.
Yeah. Thank you so much for pulling that up.
Oh, my pleasure. All right, let me pull up Robert with True Crime Cult Podcast channel. So this is Robert's channel with his new handle. And Robert, I love that you're doing all these shorts. That's a great way to grow your channel. And so his new video, is this it right here? Was Kaylee?
No, the latest update, the latest Idaho update down. Yep.
Right here. Okay. All right. And you know what? I actually love your new introduction, so I can't wait to play. All right, here we go. Oh.
I just got hit it one time.
That was hot.
Yo, I just got hit it one time. Let's go. Not hit the gas for a minute, no cap, no limit. I attack till I finish that track, then I get it. Got my cash all liquid, never pass my limit. Too fast when I'm spitting, read it back, never get it on. Flipping that switch as I'm hitting these bars like a gift. I spit like I'm some big old bars. And these kids, no kidding, I've been winning this and getting my best life dinner while I'm hitting on a mission. Ooh, spicy, I know they like me, but I got a wifey. She be real nice to me, no one works like me. Got a different mind team, my rate is pricey. Got a different psyche, ooh, lyrics are icy. Living life nicely, very precisely. Living divinely, manifest wisely. All I know is that I've been living for the sightseeing. Been around the world for a visit, first class ticket. Man, I'm in it. Man, I'm winning. I don't have no limit. If I want it, then I get it. If you want it, then you get it. I ain't never done finished. I'm a giver. I've been given first place. I've been winning 6 shots. It's spinning, but I still keep ripping and I still keep hitting 2 weights. I'm splitting all in. I'm risking it all. Yeah, I don't ever fall. Yeah, but if I do, I can't back up, stand tall. Yeah, I want it all. Yeah, a good life. I don't think small. Yeah, I'ma be big one day. See me taking off runway. My name up in lights someday. Looking at a crowd that loves me. Yeah, I came here to play.
I'm lucid. I'm not losing. This life is one I'm choosing. I don't stop, I keep moving. Just watch me as I prove it. Oh, I'm telling you I never let go. Been having a fight good on the show.
Hey, what's up, guys? That stupid fly. As you can see by the intro, the name of the channel has changed from True Crime Cult to Robert with True Crime Podcast. Now, you're probably wondering why I changed the name. I have been True Crime Cult for the last 6 months. And I just felt like I needed to freshen the channel up a little bit and change the name up a little bit. It's still me, just with a new name and a new outlook as far as true crime cases go. And I would like for you guys to journey on this ride with me in the wacky world of true crime. Now, yeah, since you guys have been used to calling me TCC in the live chats, if you still want to do that, that's okay. I'm not going to stop you, stupid fly. But just the name of the channel has changed from True Crime Cult to Robert with True Crime Podcast. Now, a little bit about me. A lot of you as my subscribers know that I've been through a lot, since I came into the true crime community. I've suffered 2 heart events, one back about 6 months ago, and the other one most recently. And with the most recent one, I've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I have to take insulin shots now. And when I first got diagnosed, my A1C was really high. Now it's down to 30, but I want to get it at least in the 20s, maybe even lower. I'm a family man. I have a beautiful 9-year-old daughter who I love to death. But I've spent my time in prison. I spent from 2006 to 2009 in prison. And y'all know about my loss back in 2011. Man, my second wife passed away of a heart attack at 28. But I will be changing up my audio icons. I'm going to leave them as what I have right now. But when I do my videos like this, you won't see me behind the icon anymore. You'll actually see me just like this. And what I want to get into today is I had a chance to go over the state's motion to change venue, and I noticed some very interesting things in there. Let's get into it, guys. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney and objects to defendant's motion to change venue. Defendant has filed a motion to change venue requesting that the trial in this matter may be moved from Latah, where the offenses took place, to Ada County, some 300 miles away. To support his motion, he conducted a survey of prospective jurors in Latah County and Ada County, Canyon County, and Bangkok County, but far from demonstrating that a Latah County jury pool has been uniquely subjected to an utterly corrupted environment, as defendant argues in his brief. The data shows that pervasive and wide-ranging coverage of this case throughout the entire state of Idaho has led to high case recognition among survey respondents across all 4 surveyed counties. The court should decline defendant invitation to parse and split hairs over an incomplete data set to reverse engineer or transfer to Ada County, which according to defendant's own experts has received the second highest amount of media coverage in the state, and where statistically greater number of, albeit slight, of the survey respondents familiar with the case believe defendant is guilty, the court should deny defendant's motion and instead focus on crafting remedial measures to ensure that a fair and impartial jury can be seated in Latah County. Although the government generally must prosecute an offense in the county where it occurred, a court may change venue in two limited circumstances: ICAR 19, ICAR 21, and IC 19-1801. First, a court must change venue to another county if the court is satisfied that a fair and impartial trial cannot be held in the county where the case is pending. Second, a court may, but is not required to, change venue for the convenience of the parties and the interest of justice. Sorry, I got something in my eyes, guys. In this case, defendant has asked the court to change venue on both bases. For the following, the defendant has failed to show that either of these circumstances applies. That yada yada yada. That sounds like a basic Bill Thompson tactic, because he don't want the trial moved. And personally, I don't think that you can get a fair jury pool in Latah County. Sorry, I was having problems with water in my eyes today. I don't think you can get a fair jury pool in Latah County. I mean, after all, go back and look at the defense rebuttal that they would burn the courthouse down if he's found not guilty. They would lynch him with good old boy justice. They would riot, hunt him down, and kill him. They would let the families do away with him. So. And they had the complete opposite reaction in Ada County. Ada County said that it would be no big deal, that then he must have been not guilty. So, just a lot of things are going on in this case. Defendant has failed to establish that a fair and impartial trial cannot be held in Latah County. Defendant has argued that due to pervasive publicity in the case, a change of venue is appropriate. Defendant further claims that the atmosphere in Latah County has been utterly corrupted by media coverage, which, guys, it has. Because they did the survey in Nez Perce and Lewiston, and I believe 36% of the jury pool believes that he is guilty from the mainstream media. And being bombarded by mainstream media, Facebook groups, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. It is undisputed that the defendant has a constitutional right to a fair trial with a fair jury, a panel of impartial, indifferent jurors, State versus Abdullah. On the change of venue motion, it is defendant's burden to show a reasonable likelihood that the pretrial publicity will deprive him of a fair trial. However, where pretrial publicity is at issue, the presumption of prejudice necessitating a change of venue applies in the most extreme cases, State versus Haddon. Sorry, I started to tear up. Been thinking about the victims the last couple of days.
Oh, Robert.
On the change of venue motion,
Robert, it's I know I get emotional too when I film these videos. You're not alone. So I just wanted to say that. Especially when I hear the parents speak, that always gets to me.
It is defendant's burden to show a reasonable likelihood that the pretrial publicity will deprive him of a fair trial. However, However, where pretrial publicity is at issue, I read that. Necessitating a change of venue applies in the most extreme of cases.
I'm just going to let you guys know I am starring some of these comments, like this one from WSU Mom Kim. We definitely have some things we'll get back to after Robert's video.
The more fact that the crimes reported by the media are gruesome or memorable does not render the publicity inflammatory to the extent requiring a change of venue. The United States Supreme Court has also explained that jury impartiality does not require ignorance. The United States Supreme Court has held that only in the most extreme cases is a defendant afforded a presumption of prejudice based on pretrial publicity. And guys, we all know that this trial is so high profile. And yes, there is pretrial publicity going on. You have the mainstream media already skewering this guy as the person that did it. You have Facebook groups talking about whether he's guilty or whether he's innocent. Instagram, whether he's guilty or whether he's innocent. This case has saturated everything. It has saturated everything. This case is global. This is the time, I think, in a long time, if ever, that a case has gone global. This case is so big, guys, it's suffocating other true crime cases here in the country because it's so streamed and talked about and content created about it. This case has become the juggernaut of all cases. In the bank robbery homicide, defendant afforded presumption of prejudice where he is videotaped confession during a police investigation aired on local news 3 times and seen by thousands. During court hearing proceedings, judge allowed unmitigated camera access to the courtroom, including the filming of jurors' faces. Neither redo nor estes apply here. Defendants in this case did not confess to the murders. I repeat, guys, did not confess to the murders, let alone on video broadcast by thousands. In this case, defendant urges the court to find that Shepard versus Maxwell, another Supreme Court case, applies here. The defendant's memorandum in support of motion to change venue, citing Shepard versus Maxwell, but Shepard is wholly inapplicable to this case. And Shepard, bedlam reigned at the courthouse during the trial, and newsmen took over partially the entire courtroom, hounding most of the participants at the trial within a few feet from the jury box. And counsel table sat some 20 reporters staring at Shepard and taking notes. This case has, however, near the chaos present in Shepard as the court explained, the carnival atmosphere at trial could easily have been avoided since the courtroom and courthouse premises are subject to the control of the court. Here, the court has scrupulously avoided such an environment. The court entered a non-dissemination order early in the case.
Okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
That's okay.
And we're definitely going to go over some of these questions in the chat. I thought this was interesting. I just wanted to stop at this one. It was an answer that WSU mom Kim gave to Sirius Black, who was actually talking to Twizzle Sniff. But it says WSU mom Kim made the statement that Dot had now moved to the Sebastian Rogers case, and I was wondering where that came from. And WSU mom Kim says, Sirius, I'm sorry, I didn't mean moved on to the case. I mean that the actors who created Dot are involved and their goals appear the same. Their script is fitted to the Sebastian Rogers case. And the reason I brought that up is because it sparked a thought in me, which is we talk about the ISRGB a lot. And it's like this graphic, it's like this graphic Reddit thread. And I always was like wondering, who is this person? Are they the killers? Are they undercover law enforcement? Turns out they're a group of like morbid, like macabre satire kind of like group that does this type of writing for all high profile crimes. So I just think it's interesting that she brings up that her knowledge is Dot moved on to another crime with the same MO, but with a script fitted to another person. And that's just sad to have a roving band of trolls all over YouTube.
I was on Reddit. I was on Reddit earlier today, and I came across this. It was a the Moscow, Idaho murders thread, and I can't believe how many people on Reddit hate us. They hate the content creators, and because I was reading like like threads and threads and threads and threads of just nasty and vile things that they say about us, and I'm thinking, why do they hate us?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I understand. There's some people out there that don't like content creators. I've seen it on Instagram. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it on Facebook. But just this entire thread apparently it was from like 4 or 5 months ago, and it was just a long thread of like maybe 10 or 12 people that absolutely hate us because they feel that we as content creators stole this case from them.
That's what they said?
Yeah, that's what they were saying in the threads. That I'm not going to mention no content creators, but they gave a list of the ones that they give a list of the ones that they hate. And each time it was this person's. These people stole the Idaho 4 case from us, and I don't understand why they would do that. Are they just trying to get rich off of YouTube? And I'm thinking to myself, my freaking God, it's a case. We all content creators as people in this country want justice for these victims. Why is there so much hate when it comes to this case towards people on Reddit, people on 4chan, people on YouTube, people on TikTok, people on Facebook, people on Instagram? Why can't we all just get along and know it's all the same goal? Justice for the Idaho 4. Kaylee, Xana, Maddie, and Ethan.
Absolutely. I'm going to keep playing this.
And the small press pool that was allowed in the courtroom failed to follow the court's instruction as to filming or photographing the defendant. The court disallowed any media filming,
Hold on.
photographing.
I'm actually going to pause this. I want to elaborate on Mikey's comment. And Mikey, if I'm getting this wrong, just go ahead and let me know in the chat. But I think what Mikey is saying is after the initial search warrant, there was a whole slew of social media warrants that came after that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they had found a connection in the initial warrant, why would they need all of those additional warrants for social media?
Yeah, and exactly. Why would they be issuing search warrants for Kaylee's Reddit? I didn't see any other warrants for Maddie, Xana, and Ethan when it comes to Reddit. The only one I saw was for Kaylee. Why are they so interested in Kaylee's Reddit? And Kate, now, I will say I did watch an interview that Olivia Gonzalez did, where she mentioned that she had got into Kaylee's Reddit account, or some kind of account that it was on the family plan, and she got into that account and started going through that account, I guess looking for clues or looking for something, and this one lawyer I watched today said that would typically be a crime, knowing that your loved one is deceased, but you're going through their phone looking for stuff and erasing stuff. Wasn't it Olivia that erased her LinkedIn?
I don't know if Olivia erased her LinkedIn. Could you elaborate on who's erasing stuff from their phone? You're seeing the surviving roommates?
No, Olivia Gonzalez.
Uh-huh.
Before they took the phone as evidence, before Steve and Chrissy and the family handed Kaylee's phone over to the police as evidence, they were Olivia accessed her phone and started deleting like her LinkedIn and other stuff like that. And in this interview I watched, Olivia actually admitted to getting into her phone and deleting her LinkedIn.
Well,
before
okay,
they handed the phone over.
So, the first thing is I definitely need to see where Olivia admits that she deleted Kaylee's LinkedIn, because I haven't seen that one yet. I have heard Olivia come out and say, look, and I'm paraphrasing. I'm taking everything she said and making it into one statement, but she essentially said, I was mistaken about how I first interpreted Kaylee's LinkedIn going live 12 hours after the crime. And then I also misinterpreted that it was deleted that way.
Okay, Echoes of Clarity said that they didn't have the phone. The police had the phone, but the phone plan was on the family network. So I'm thinking the family could have accessed her LinkedIn because they all shared the same password. They all shared the same password to the family network or the family plan or whatever you want to call it, and each family member could access each one's phones,
Mm-hmm.
even if the phone is not in their possession.
Yep. But here's the thing, Robert, is that I don't know if it's a worry or a concern for me, because I know that the police aren't going to be taking the physical phone and saying, oh, this is here and that is here. They're going to have a forensic printout of the phone. And so if LinkedIn was erased from a remote location, hypothetically at the Gonzalez household, it's going to say where and when it was deleted and by who. Like it's
Yeah.
not, I'm not necessarily concerned about that. I am concerned though with the initial statement, and I'm not trying to call out family members or say anything poor about the family, but I am very confused. I saw a short by Chronicles of Olivia with Olivia on it, suggesting that the account was deleted on the 13th, because then we see a screenshot of the account a couple days later still active.
Yeah.
And so that confused me, and it still confuses me. But I'm just going to assume it was a mistake and give the benefit of the doubt, that I don't know. It seems so, I don't know what's going on, but I'm glad that we have debunked that.
Well, if Olivia didn't delete, because JB said Olivia said that her LinkedIn was deleted, and she went right to the authorities and asked them if they did it, and they told her no. So if the police didn't do it and the family didn't do it, who did it?
The FBI maybe. And that's what I was thinking. And I had asked AR about that. I go, could they have gotten into the phone by the 12-hour mark? And he said yes. But she was saying, so she did come out with with more statements on this. And I've seen the Facebook posts where she said, okay, when I thought Kaylee had gone live at 11:30 on the 13th, after the crime, I was mistaken. It was just basically the normal indicator that somebody's available. And then it got confusing to me, and I'll have to go back and look at my notes. I have a lot of them saved on my computer, but we still have to get through this video and stuff. So I don't know if we're going to bring it up right
last night I went to the Gonzalez family page because I was gonna leave like a really nice comment saying that my thoughts and prayers are with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only way you can leave a message on their page, you have to subscribe. And I hit the subscribe button, and they that Gonzalez family page, they charge you to subscribe to their page.
Okay.
It's like $1, but I didn't have $1. But I just thought it was kind of odd. And this is supposed to be for this page is supposed to be for the family, for people, to leave like heartwarming comments about Kaylee and Maddie and stuff like that. But why would you charge for a memorial page?
I mean, I'm just going to be perfectly honest. Why I think they're doing it is because people are going on there, getting the beautiful photographs and tributes that they put up, and they're exploiting them for money on other social media platforms. I mean, I'm not going to judge how the family is doing that. And I refrain from judging how the Chapins did that as well.
I'm not judging them either. I just thought it was odd. That's all.
Yeah. I'm so trying to not,
I know you. I'm in that boat with you, Kiki.
The family. Why is the point? What for me? It's like, what would be the point? I just So I'll shut up. I'm like,
I'm in the same boat with you, and we're rolling up this stream of the Idaho 4.
I know, right? That's so true. Here, let me go ahead.
Let's hope we don't lose our oars.
Let's not lose our paddles, Robert.
It's muted.
Robert, did you just say it's muted?
Yeah, you got it muted.
You can't hear that?
No.
Okay. Let me try again. I can hear it. You
guys
hear that?
Leptina says no.
What were you saying?
Love Tina says no, she can't hear it.
No sound.
Yep,
Weird.
no sound.
All right, let me refresh the screen. Let's see, we're at 1730.
Nope.
Can you guys hear that?
Nope. Love Tina says I can hear you talking, just not the video.
I literally can't hear you over the music. That's weird. I guess I'll just try sharing it again, maybe.
No, that's okay. Yeah, we've been on for 2 hours and 4 minutes.
Yeah. I'll try one more time. You hear that?
Yeah.
No kidding, never winning this and getting my best life dinner while I'm hitting on a mission. Ooh, spicy. I know they like me, but I got a wifey. She be real nice to me. No one works like me. Got a different mindset. My rate is pricey.
He was in the area, guys. And this document I saw last night stated he was in the area, but there was no clear corroboration that he was anywhere near the house 12 times. So that's another lie that's being told, that he stalked the victims and was around the house 12 times, which was debunked last night. That he was in the area, yes, but he was not anywhere near the house those 12 times. As for authoring the 2017 article promulgated by the Pew Research Center, telephone poll response rates stabilized at approximately 9% after years of decline. While the Pew Research Center article concludes that low response rate does not necessarily lead to a conclusion of bias across all subject matters, low response rate can skew results in specific areas. Okay, I also want to get to this new doc that just dropped a couple of days ago. Comes now, Brian C. Koberger, Brian through his attorneys of record, and hereby submits the following additional exhibits for the motion for change of venue hearing scheduled on August 29, 2024. Additional exhibit disclosures. Exhibit B1, additional PowerPoint slides from Dr. Edelman. Exhibit C1, additional exhibits from TrueScope. Exhibit F1, Dr. Dahar's rebuttal declaration. So it's going to be big tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on in that hearing. Upon review of the defendant's reply brief and supporting declaration of Dr. Veronica Dahar, as well as review of the documentation submitted by the defendant with his initial brief, the state provides the following notice. Portions of the state's brief indicate that the state was not provided comprehensive survey data from the defendant. This is incorrect. The state was provided raw data from the surveys, as well as declaration that analyzed some of that data when the defendant filed his initial motion to change venue on July 22nd, 2024. Through the state's argument remains unchanged. The state does not wish to create an impression that the state did not receive all of the survey data. To that end, the state submits this notice in advance of hearing. That's going to be big tomorrow, guys. I'm going to have a panel breakdown with Kiki from Swamp Rose and her sister-in-law, Gia Peru. Now, Kiki will be live streaming it. And then after the live stream is over, I will have a commentary breakdown of what we all saw. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers and all my mods. I love all you guys. But I just felt like it was time for the channel name to change. Yes, basically, I wanted a fresh start with a fresh name. And it's still going to be me behind this mic. Just when I do these videos, I won't be behind an icon anymore. I may do the icon on when I'm on panels, but not all the time. And I want to give a special shout out to a subscriber that has been with me from day one. His name is Adam. He lives in the Silicon Valley in California. You know, I felt bad because I missed his name in the member shout out the other day, and I wanted to give him this special shout out. But like always, guys, like, subscribe, and comment to my channel. Make sure you share my channel. I will be going live tomorrow morning, 10 minutes before the start of the hearing. And then Saturday, I have another live stream coming up. But guys, we can only go up from here. And I would love for you guys to travel with me on this in this wacky world of true crime, just under a different name. This is Robert with True Crime Podcast, and I'm out. Peace.
Okay, so first off, Robert, thank you for sharing your latest video with us and giving us your take on these new documents, because we're all just guessing, and everything they're saying is accompanying a 319-page memorandum, and we, so it's good to hear everyone's interpretations on it, and thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. I saw the comment that Mikey S made. We got you, Robert.
Yeah, I displayed that. Let's see if I can find it again. Right here. So Robert's channel handle is scrolling at the bottom. Please go visit him and give him a sub. And like he was saying, we're going to be covering the hearing dual stream tomorrow. So yeah, we'd love to have you join us. And okay, so there's two things. I have a little bit of energy. And Robert, certainly if I am going too long or holding you up, I do not mind if you skip out, but I did want to finish the video that we started last live stream because we had such poor internet reception. It kept cutting out, and we left off on the 11-minute mark of Rollo's video. And Rollo is one of my mods. He also supports my channel so much, and I just want to promote his new video. So I want to do that, and then I have a tribute video that I'm going to play to end the stream that I edited for the Idaho 4.
Okay.
So
and when the stream's over, I need to tell you something.
Okay. Oh yeah, always, Robert. I would always hang out till after stream with you. All right, so I'm going to go to Rollo's channel. Hold on. And we'll put his handle up so you can go visit him too. So, oh, Rollo, I think you took down the video. Damn it. Oh, no, it's here. Okay. share my screen. I would like to say before we start the video that Rollo is a visual artist, and Rollo likes to, in this video, does a lot of speculation on alternative theories when it comes to the Idaho 4 case. So I'm going to actually put up a banner just reminding everyone that everything we say is commentary. It is speculation, opinion, and reaction. So do your own research and form your own opinions when it comes to everything you see. And with that, let's enjoy the video. We're skipping.
First of all, it's all of that speculation, my theory, my personal opinion, and my findings. It's all for entertainment, and everybody mentioned here.
This was off last night. Now, I do really find some of these timestamps incredibly fascinating, because one of them is in this video, Rollo breaks things down with a timeline. And some of the timelines he brings up, I find really interesting with Linda Lane, because he matches them up with timestamps from different areas. For instance, when Kaylee's phone goes offline and she's making all those phone calls, Rollo's showing the timestamp during that. He also shows timestamps when the girls were dropped off by the private driver and when they would have potentially been walking the dog. And I'm telling you, the audio is really interesting from those times. There's also a timestamp you'll see by the end of this where he brings up a little something I've never seen in this video, which I've watched so many times, which is somebody who's running by the gate at a certain time. And then at the end of this video, what I thought was really cool is Rollo actually shows a daytime full colored image of this angle that we're always looking at on Linda Lane. So just pointing out a few things, and I'll stop talking and play the video.
What do you guys think? I'm not tripping on this. What goes down around this time?
Yep. Excuse me. So, and I've seen this done before, and I think that this is one of the reasons why I do come back to Linda Lane and I do cover this, is because I've seen Jeff H do it, and now I've seen Rollo do it, where they match up the horn beeps from the Banfield to Linda Lane, which does put like a little bit of, I don't know, it does show that the audio might be correct in these, which we've always wondered. It doesn't say that there aren't overlays or additions to it, but at least we know that the general audio is good on this. All right, shut up. unmute myself. I just want to say, because this is where I start getting really interested in these timestamps around this time. And again, I'm not trying to say anything, but I'm not trying to imply anything, but I just want to bring up the knowledge that we do have, which is in about 5 minutes or 6 minutes at 2:56, Kaylee's phone goes offline. But before that, this is at 2:50. This is when Kaylee's phone was frantically calling her ex, we would imagine, within this 5-minute period. And so it's interesting hearing the timestamps around those time. Now, I'm not ignoring the fact that we have what Jeff and Mish Girl just said, which is, let me bring it up. Sound would it, well, I'll just say it because I can't find it. We have so many comments since then, but sound wouldn't have traveled from the 1120 to King home. But either way.
And Jeff H just said, there is no way that camera mic would be able to pick up any sound from King. I mean, there are large brick buildings, trees, concrete retaining walls, etc. in the path. And he referenced the owner of the Queen Road Apartments.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that we'd be able to, and again, I'm not going to say either way if we would or wouldn't, but I'm not necessarily saying we wouldn't hear the crime from up here. But I mean, this is the hour in which this crime happened. And
even
the outside world, it was committed by the outside world. So what is going on outside of that house, and the noises that are going on outside of that house are relevant too, regardless of just noises coming from the crime. I would imagine.
Even Twizzlestick just said, I bet the camera next door doesn't even pick up noise from 1122.
Very well. But that's not my point. My point is this, is that these are outside noises too. And we're listening to see what we can hear in the neighborhood. So yes, the fact that maybe we won't hear a dog bark or a scream from inside the house doesn't negate that maybe somebody here is studying the noises that were going on in the neighborhood as well. I think that's what Roll is getting at here too. I don't know. Thank you. Mrs. Pottage understands what I was getting at. Thank you, Mrs. Pottage.
not tripping on this. Remember the Banfield incident finished at 316, right? And look at what happens right after that.
Okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here just because I want to point this out. I had never seen this on the footage before. So good catch, Rolo. I just want to say good catch.
Trip on that. I'll talk about kill kits. He ain't the only one. There's another one right here. I don't see where you guys see people at.
Sorry, I was muted. Crystal, we're watching a new analysis on Linda Lane by one of my mods, Rolo Moto, and he is showing us some new things we haven't seen before in the Linda Lane footage. A lot of people were asking what we're looking at, so I just wanted to say.
So what do you guys think? Am I having illusions, or am I seeing shadows or whatever? Hearing voices. These are screenshots from the angle from where I was concentrating at, just so you guys could have an idea of. But really, where you gotta concentrate is the walkway over there in front of the house, and this one. This one's key. That's where everything was coming from on the little. We walked down there, and then everything was going down right there. That's why all the sounds were you were getting into the camera because they were coming directly from right over there. And check this out. Just throw this one in. I just threw these little images and just see what you guys see right here. You guys can work them or whatever, put a filter. I got some pure ones, but see what you guys make out of them, right? So this is not even the tip of what I got, you guys don't even know. I just said, hear you guys and everything come out. Share and whatever. Comment. See what I want to know what you're thinking. I respect.
Hey Kiki, I got a jet. My daughter is calling me.
Okay. Well, oops, let me stop this. All right. Well, Robert, it was so nice having you on tonight. Thank you for your time, and I'm excited about covering this hearing tomorrow with you. It's gonna be big, and hopefully, after everything is said and done, we'll have a sense of maybe where the judge is going with this, but we'll find out in the next month or so what's going to happen.
Yep.
So I'm going to put your handle up one more time so the folks know where to find you. I get the new handle. Hold on. So Robert with True Crime Colt 1662.
Yeah, 162.
And just make sure to check out Robert's channel. He's got a ton of videos, lives, and shorts. You'll find something you like there. Give him a like and a sub, and just give him a thank you for spending his time here with us tonight, because he's been here almost 3 hours with us. So thank you, Robert.
Y'all have a good night. Peace out.
Take care. All right, and then before I move on to the next thing, I just want to put Rolo's banner back up because I didn't want it up while we were doing the stream, just simply because it was covering up the picture. So please go visit Rolo's channel if you enjoyed that footage of Linda Lane. It is like one of a ton of videos that he has talking about Banfield, talking about Linda Lane. It's got a lot of topics there. The last thing I wanted to show, and I'll display your comments while I'm doing this, is a tribute video. I'm just trying to end all of my live streams with a tribute video to the victim, because I just think it kind of grounds us and reminds us exactly why we're here and what we're doing. So So let me just share my screen, and I'm going to bring up my channel again. And if you want to find this video, you go under here. It was made back in November. And you'll recognize it because it looks like this, Idaho 4. It's a 2-minute video, and it's beautiful. So what I did was I took the 1-year tribute to the victims, and I re-edited it with music that I could play on my channel. And then at the very end, they do the chimes for each name, and it's the a picture of the 1-year memorial. So here we go. And there's no
Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez,
So that's it for tonight's live stream. I really appreciate you guys coming out and supporting me, and I hope to see you tomorrow for our live coverage of the trial, and have a good night. Thank you.